She laughed when I read the HOA rules until I reached page 47. That was the exact moment Karen's smile faltered. Not gone, just frozen, like her confidence tripped over something it didn't expect. We stood in the community clubhouse under harsh fluorescent lights, folding chairs lined up like a cheap courtroom. Karen, our HOA president for over a decade, leaned back with practiced arrogance, arms crossed, lips curled in amusement. To her, this meeting was theater. I was the quiet homeowner wasting everyone's time. I held the HOA rulebook carefully, its spine cracked, pages yellowed from neglect. You don't have to read all that, Karen laughed, glancing at the board for approval. A few members chuckled. Everyone knows what matters. I nodded politely and kept reading. Page 12, lawn violations. Page 23, exterior modifications. Page 31, enforcement authority. Karen checked her phone. Someone sighed. This was supposed to be humiliating for me. Then I said calmly, page 47. Her laughter stopped. My voice stayed steady as I read aloud, word by word. A clause buried so deeply it had escaped enforcement for years. One line redefining the board's authority, another limiting fines retroactively, and a final paragraph requiring a formal process Karen had never followed. The room went still. Karen opened her mouth, closed it. I didn't smirk. I didn't rush. I simply kept reading, because quiet people don't speak to win attention. They speak to end arguments. If you love powerful stories, you don't want to miss this. But before we continue, tell us where you are watching from. It makes us happy to see how far our stories travel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Karen wasn't laughing anymore. Karen recovered quickly. Too quickly. She straightened in her chair, smoothing her blazer like confidence could be ironed back into place. That clause is outdated, she said sharply. We've never enforced it that way. I closed the rulebook gently. That doesn't make it invalid. Murmurs rippled through the room. One board member leaned forward. Another flipped through their own copy, suddenly interested. Karen's eyes darted, just once, but I noticed. Quiet people always do. That section applies only under specific conditions, she snapped, tapping the table. And those conditions don't apply here. They do, I replied, calm as ever, because you issued fines without a recorded vote, without written notice, and without homeowner appeal rights. I paused. All three are required, page 47. The room shifted. Chairs creaked. Someone coughed. Karen's authority, so solid minutes ago, now felt thin, like glass tapped too many times. She laughed again, louder this time. Forced. You're misinterpreting legal language. We'll have our attorney clarify. I nodded. I already did. That landed. I slid a single printed page across the table. Not a threat, not a stack. Just one clean letterhead with a law firm's name at the top. Karen didn't touch it. She didn't need to. She recognized it. Her smile stiffened. You went behind the board's back, she said. No, I answered softly. I went through the rules. All of them. For the first time, Karen didn't argue. She looked around the room, searching for support. But the laughter was gone now, replaced by curiosity, doubt, and something far more dangerous to her power. Attention, and it was no longer hers. Karen tried to regain control by calling a recess. 10 minutes. Water, whispered conversations, strategic smiles. It didn't work. By the time we sat back down, the room felt different, lighter, dangerous. The board members weren't looking at Karen anymore. They were looking at each other, at their papers, at me. One woman cleared her throat. Have we ever followed the appeal process? Karen snapped her head around. Of course we have. The man beside her frowned. I don't remember voting on half those fines. Another voice chimed in. My neighbor paid one last year, no notice, just a letter. Karen laughed again, but it cracked halfway through. We can discuss procedure later. Tonight is about compliance. I finally spoke, not louder, just clearer. Procedure is compliance. Silence. I opened the rulebook once more, this time not to read, but to place it on the table. Flat. Final. If the process was violated, the fines are void. All of them. Page 47 and 48. Someone gasped softly. Karen stood up so fast her chair scraped loudly against the floor. This is turning into a circus. No, the same board member said gently. This is turning into a record. That's when Karen realized something terrifying. She wasn't being attacked. She was being audited. Her power had relied on speed, intimidation, and people not checking. But quiet intelligence doesn't rush. It waits. It reads. It remembers. Karen sat back down, jaw tight, eyes cold, but she didn't speak again, because once the room stops believing you, noise won't save you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Karen didn't sleep well that night. I know because by morning, emails starting inboxes across the neighborhood. Subject line after subject line, all forwarded, all urgent. Emergency board meeting. Legal review. Temporary suspension of enforcement actions. Words chosen carefully. Too carefully. By noon, the attorney's response arrived. Page 47 was valid. Worse, it had teeth. The fines issued without proper process weren't just void, they were refundable. Every dollar collected over the past 3 years had to be returned with interest. And because the board failed to document votes, responsibility fell on the officers who authorized enforcement. Karen's name appeared more than once. That evening, the clubhouse filled again. This time, no laughter, no smirks, just quiet faces and crossed arms. Karen sat stiffly at the center table, hands folded, no blazer, no smile. The attorney spoke, the treasurer swallowed hard. Numbers were read aloud. Apologies followed, then a motion, a vote of no confidence. It passed unanimously. Karen stood slowly, as if dignity might still be salvageable if she moved carefully. She didn't look at me. She didn't need to. Page 47 had already said everything. The refunds went out within weeks. The fines disappeared. New procedures were adopted. Transparency became mandatory, not optional. As for me, I returned the rulebook to my shelf. Unread sections still marked, just in case. Because power doesn't belong to the loudest voice in the room. It belongs to the person who reads until the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe.